Stan Smith here with episode number 3 of Fix My Blog. And this is the monthly series where I take a reader's blog, review it, and give recommendations and critique some of the things that they can do to change their blog to achieve their goals. And this week we are reviewing the Internet Church blog created by Byron Perrine. And he stated that his challenge was getting more traffic for his blog. So whenever I hear the challenge of getting more traffic, I think of what I call my traffic pyramid. And the traffic pyramid starts with an audience with a specific information need. And then the second rung or the second tier could be excellent listings on search engines. Search engines like Google and Bing and Yahoo are really the gateway for people researching specific information. And if you want to increase your traffic to your blog, then the best first step you can take is not only making sure that you have information that's relevant to an audience that has a specific need, but also making sure that your blog is equipped to rank as well as it can on the search engines, because that's where most of your readers will find your blog. And the third rung at the top of my pyramid is excellent referral traffic. And referral traffic is just other people sending you traffic. So this could be social media. This could be content hubs such as iTunes or YouTube. It also could be third-party sites that have come and looked at your blog, seen your articles, and decided to send you a link or mention you in their blog. And Google recognizes those links to your blog as a success signal, a signal that says that your blog is actually worthwhile, it's relevant, and it's helpful. Because after all, you wouldn't link to a blog or you wouldn't link to another site that you didn't find valuable. So Google uses those links, and they're called backlinks, to determine if your blog is relevant. They consider it a vote for your blog. So those are the three things I focus on whenever I need to diagnose a site that wants to get more traffic. So let's take a look at the Internet Church blog in context or in reference to those three things that I mentioned. Relevant, specific information to an audience that has a need, excellent listings on search engines, and excellent referral traffic. So the very first thing that I look at is from an audience perspective, why is an audience visiting this blog? And what are you offering to help this audience? And from the beginning, the title here, Homeland of the Heart Internet Church blog, it's a title. It's just a very simple, straightforward title. The concern I have with this title is that it's not specific enough, and it's not really calling out the purpose of the site. It's not really grabbing the attention of a person who is looking for a very specific answer to a problem that they may be having or an interest that they have. So this is a very generic, I would say, title for the blog. So that's the first thing that I see from the beginning. Okay, and if a person doesn't understand what the blog offers within the first 2 or 3 seconds, even less these days, then it's very likely that they're going to hit the back button and go back and look for another site. The second thing here that's problematic is that if I'm drawing a question mark here in terms of what this site is about or what it does, okay, then this picture is not helping clear up that situation. Okay, so I'm not sure. I would think that this is probably Hebrew, the language here, but I'm not sure. But I can't read this sign. Okay, so I'm not really sure what this is about. I'm not sure who this person is because there's not a caption underneath the picture. So this is not helping me get a clearer picture. As a matter of fact, it's probably confusing the issue a little bit more, which means that I'm leaving. Okay, and the third thing here that I'm looking for is just a statement, a purpose for the site, and I do start to see it right here, and it's in small type. This looks about 10 point or maybe even 12-point font, and I see here the purpose of the OCHF blog is to introduce some of the holdings of our library to the public. Now, I'm being very detail oriented here, and I'm going OCHF. Who is that referring to? Is this the Homeland of the Heart Internet Church blog? Well, that abbreviation doesn't, acronym, I guess, doesn't line up. Okay, so that's the very first thing. Now I'm confused. Now I'm not sure if I'm in the right place at all, which means I'm leaving. And if anybody else who is doing research on this, by this point, they've given up. Okay, so it's really important that if you make a statement that talks about your blog, talks about the purpose of your blog, that it be very straightforward and easy to understand. I do get a hint at maybe this guy in the picture is Dr. Byron Perrine, but again, I'm still not sure because it says I bid you welcome to the OCHF blog, and I am not sure what that refers to. So that is probably my first impression that the audience is going to be leaving. Okay, so the immediate actions I would take here is, first of all, take a long and hard look at your design because I don't believe that your design is working for you here, Byron. So you may want to change that design. It feels dark and it also feels outdated. So it's very easy to invest in a new blog design that has a more of a modern look that allows the blog to pass the sniff test, if you will, when a person comes. They really want to get a good gut feeling that the site is a professional looking site. Second is that if you do decide to redesign this blog, you're going to want to look for a blog design that has a prominent area for the tagline and your statement of purpose. Okay, so your tagline should be up here, and the tagline should quickly summarize why a person will want to spend time on your blog. And then your statement, you want to make sure that that is easily found. One design flaw, one readability concern I see here is that this is white text on a background here, a dark background, and usually reversed out text. So usually we like reading text that's a dark text or dark font color on a light background because that contrast is easier for our eyes to see and to follow and to read. In this case, we have the reverse. We have white on a dark background, which is a lot harder because the contrast is harder for your eyes to work through. So that is making this statement look even smaller because this dark background is literally sucking in, all right, and making that type seem even smaller. So you want to take a look at that. Also, you want to review or revise this intro. You want to make sure that this acronym or this abbreviation for the blog actually matches up because I'm not getting how that if that is referring to this blog or some other blog. Also, you say that introduce some of the holdings of our fine library to the public. And then you go in to say from time to time a photo of one of our historic holdings would be posted on the story along with a story of its significance. Well, I'm not acquainted with your library yet. I'm not sure which holdings you're speaking of. I'm not sure why that's of value, and I'm not sure why I want to read it on this blog. So you want to go back and readdress your purpose statement and make sure that is focused on what the reader is looking for versus what you want to say. So that I think that that's another reason why people are probably leaving this site very quickly. And for that matter, we're not giving Google a lot to work from in terms of trying to decide what this site is useful for or who this site is useful for. So you really want to take a look at title, make that more specific, tagline, talk about a concrete benefit that you're going to give your reader, and then you want to look at your purpose statement here and make sure that talks about or communicates the benefit of why or communicates the benefit of the content of this blog. So right from, I would say, the top header on down to your first blog post, you really want to revamp that. And I really think that a design will help you there. So that's number one. Let's talk about getting a little bit better search listings. Now, some of the issues I've talked about so far with the blog is really going to hurt you from a search engine standpoint because Google is not going to be seeing, or any of the other search engines are not going to be seeing the most important signals that they're looking for to get a feel for where to index your site and what to index your site for. So for example, the page description is too general. So it's forcing me, or it's forcing you to compete against all other Christian sites. Okay, it's forcing this blog to stand up, against every single Christian site on the web, because the only thing that we're seeing here is, for that matter, is not even a Christian site, because what we're seeing is this church. So you're actually going up against all church sites on the blog, which or on the internet, which I believe is a daunting task, and is probably one of the reasons why you're getting probably zero search engine traffic. So unless you probably get a little bit of traffic from just the specific reference to this phrase, okay, which is probably not a lot of people. So that's number one. The second thing is that your blog post titles. If we scroll down here and we see the blog post title here, Week of Prayer for Christian Unity. That's a very general title. And then we kind of scroll down here and then we see, is an internet church appropriate? Okay, and this is probably just a tad bit better, but again, I'm not really sure about what keywords you're going after and where this information fits in. Okay, I'm not understanding the context. Google is trying to make the exact same decisions, trying to find the exact same answer. So you definitely need to improve your titles. And improving your titles means that you're going to want to understand what this blog is for. So in this case, we're talking about, it looks like you have a library that has some very interesting holdings, okay? And we really need to understand what those holdings are, okay? And we need to understand why they're significant. And third thing is why somebody will be searching for them. Working through those questions will help you kind of hone in on some of the keywords and some of the descriptions that you're going to need to really start to pique people's interest. And that will really help you with your titles as well. Another issue is that the lead for your blog posts may not attract the attention of people who are reading through listings on Google. Because what Google does is that it will go out and it will see your site, and then it will try to add a description to the title of your site. So it's going to grab this title, which we said before has some issues. We're not really sure what this is for, why it's important. And then it's going to grab actually this piece of text right here. And what will happen is that, and I think if you do a search engine listing, what you'll see is that Google is actually taking every page of this site and it is adding this as this copy here is adding as a description. Let me show you. I'm going to do a quick search here on Google, and we're going to go site, and then we're going to put in your blog post address. So this little reference here, site : will pull in all the results that are indexed in Google for your blog. Okay, so what you see here is that we do have the name of the posts. Okay, we do have them here, but as you can see, every single description is the same, right? An open forum. So it's really grabbing this information from that line of text here, which is not what you want it to do. All right, you want it to be able to pull from the text here, so that each of these blog posts are getting indexed with something that attracts people's attention, hopefully in the first couple of sentences here. So just how this blog is structured, it's causing Google to pull in the wrong information, and by pulling in the wrong information, it is hurting your ability to attract traffic from the search engines. I'm going to do something very quickly here because I wanted to see if I can find exactly where that piece of copy is coming from, and I think I know where it is. It's going to be in the meta description tag. So it's right here. And what you're looking at right now is just the back end of this site. Okay, so the HTML coding that goes into making this site. And what you've done is that you've created a description for the site here. Okay, an open forum for the discussion of our Christian heritage. The problem is that on Google is not understanding where to pull the description of each one of your individual blog titles. So what it's doing is that it's just pulling in that description that you placed in the meta description tag, and that's not the best way of doing it. Okay, and even further down here, you're starting to see it's either pulling that meta description tag or it's pulling the that first statement that you have on your blog. Okay, so that is something you definitely want to remedy as quickly as possible. So, some other things that I would do in terms of immediate actions to take is I would really consider, Byron, self hosting your blog, okay, on WordPress. The software is free and it'll cost you about $10 a month to host it. And you're probably going to have to buy a domain name, and that's going to cost you maybe $11 or $12 a year. So, getting set up is going to be a minimal amount. And if you do a self hosted WordPress blog, then you're going to have many more options in terms of configuring this site to rank better on Google. Right now, you're just using Blogspot, which is a free service, and sometimes it does handle, Blogger or Blogspot is a good choice. However, if you really want to get a lot of traffic to your blog, you're going to want to have more flexibility when it comes to your search engine optimization options. And right now, you just don't have those types of options with Blogspot. So self-hosting will allow you to have a lot more options when it comes to the look and feel of your site, and you will have the benefit of being able to pick from some really good search engine optimization plugins to be able to start to improve your blog's search engine standings. The next thing I would do is remove the top image from every blog post page. Okay, so if you see here, if I go to another blog post, let's take a look at, let's go to April. And you'll see that when I'm on April, I'm seeing the exact same picture up top here. All right. And the problem with that is that it's still pulling this whole image into Google. Okay. And as Google is using this image here as your text for your description, it's really confusing people. And really what you want to see happen is that this blog post, these blog posts alone are being ranked by themselves, as a single page, as a single post. Right now, that's not happening because every post page has this hard-coded header, which is really distorting what people are seeing about your blog on Google. Okay, so you want to get rid of that header at the top of every image, and that's probably going to require a change to your Blogspot template. The next thing I would suggest doing is identify the search phrases your audience may be using to find your content, and write relevant copy for each of those key phrases. So I'm not talking about turning your blog into a keyword stuffed, blog that only appeals to search engines. What I'm saying is that be a little bit more strategic. Look for and try to determine what your readers are trying to find, and then see if you can build content around what they're looking for. That will start to attract more traffic from Google. Google will know where to index your site, and it will know where you're relevant. So that's going to be a very important piece. And you can include the key phrase that you're looking for in titles of your blog post if that makes sense. You can include it in the description of the blog if that makes sense for you as well. So you just want to kind of sit down, and with that goal of getting more internet traffic, you're going to have to maximize maximize your position on Google as much as possible, so you can get that targeted readership or that targeted traffic from them. So the next thing is on my traffic pyramid is having inbound links from third-party sites. Okay, so that means that your content is getting promoted by other people who are driving traffic to your site. And I ran this site through a tool called Moz Open Explorer. It's a really great tool that allows you to see at a glance your search engine rankings. It's called Open Site Explorer, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what I see. I'm going to open up Open Site Explorer. Let's go over there and take a look. And I'm going to put in your blog name. Just do a quick search on it right here. So it's already in there. We're going to do a search. And what I'm looking for is I want to look for links that are coming to your site. Okay, so in this case, it's page link metrics. Links that are coming from the outside in. So what Moz Open Site Explorer is saying is that it has not found anyone linking to this site. And the links it does find, it seems like it comes from a root domain that is connected with this site. So it's actually pulling this in from our Christian Heritage Foundation, which now I know is this OCHF that you refer to here. Okay, so and what it's doing is that we're seeing is that you're getting a little bit of credit from the Our Christian Heritage Foundation, but those are the only links coming in. That means that you're going to find it very hard for Google. It's going to be very hard for Google to rank you highly because it's not receiving a vote from any other site that says that your content is worthwhile, which will hurt you over time. Okay, so that's one thing. I think the other thing that you want to take a look at there is you want to take a look at your design, because I really believe that what people are seeing is that if they do find the information they're looking for on your site, they are probably a little worried about sending their audience to this site because it reflects on them. Now, no one sets out to create a design that doesn't work. I understand that it usually happens because a lack of investment in time, or you just don't have the expertise. But if you really are looking at getting traffic at this point, you have to place a lot of emphasis on that and perhaps make an investment in getting a good design for your blog. So other people won't share the blog that if it doesn't pass, the design sniff test that I referred to earlier. With that being said, couple of the things that you may want to do is try to find a way to place your social share icons. So your icons for Twitter or for Facebook or for LinkedIn, find a way to place those underneath the title here, like you will see on most blogs. So if a person does like what they're reading here, they can easily share it with their audience. So I think that's an important piece. Okay, so if I were to take a step back, and I would say what I would do to get this blog on the right track for gaining traffic. That's a tongue twister, right? So what would I do there? I would say, first of all, I would redesign it just to make sure that it is communicating the professional image that I am hoping to project. Okay, and I would do that by moving it off of Blogspot, getting a self-hosted WordPress blog going, and picking from the templates that are available to really make this site's content really stand out. The second thing I would do is create a title and a tagline for this blog that really captures people's attention. And if I'm looking for this type of information, I'm looking for information on the holdings that are in this library, then I immediately know where to go, and I immediately know I'm at the right place when I arrive here. And then I would deal with the SEO issues that are happening here. So I would make sure that the descriptions of each page is relevant to the page. I would make sure that each one of these blog pages, when they show up, it's not showing up at the bottom of this big header image here. So I would clean up those things so when Google lists the site in its search engine, it is actually pulling in relevant information for these titles. Okay, so I think that's an important piece as well. So I congratulate you, first of all, for having the courage to put your blog out there to be reviewed by the world, so to speak. But I do believe that you do have good content on the blog. I think that people who are interested in this topic will find your blog to be a tremendous resource. But for right now, the design of the blog and some of the errors in the search engine optimization is hiding your blog from the people who want to get to its information. That is a solvable problem. I'm sure you can do it using the resources you find on Pushing Social and other blogs. So that is my review of the Internet Church blog. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the comments section that's below this video, and make sure you check out our episode schedule for next month's blog that we'll be reviewing. And I look forward to talking with everyone next month in the next episode of Fix My Blog.